Meow! Hooper's cat. Bugging out. Bugging out today, at least the first part of it, by foot. So I thought, heck, why do you guys come along? So come along. So I don't have to worry about water, I don't have to worry about wood. What I do have to worry about is people. So if I can't bug out by car, I'm guessing I can't in a major sudden SHTF for safety reasons or gasoline reasons. I may have to go by foot. So my priorities isn't to find water courses or wood. I have a ton of that wherever I go. Very lucky that way. Beautiful, isn't it? My priority is to avoid people. So within 3 minutes I get away from buildings and I get into park systems and non-used natural areas, and that takes me basically to the beginning of my bug out route. So come on. So this is the main reason I believe in having bug out locations fully stocked. I don't want to carry this stuff. Obviously I would have a pack on, and I wouldn't have Mr. Bear or Becky or the cats. They will not survive. It's not doable to do that with them on a walking bug out, unfortunately. But I can do it. So I can think of multiple reasons why a bug out by car won't be possible in a sudden event. I can't think of that many reasons why bugging out by bicycle wouldn't be an effective method, and that's actually my probable preferred route. But if I have to go by foot 100 miles, I can do it. And it wouldn't actually be that bad. Pretty much my plan would be to leave car, bike, foot during night time. At least to get out of the area I'm in, which is a reasonably small town that keeps getting bigger, which is why I'm moving when I retire. So this would be a 3 AM bug out by foot with me and Kitty. Sans creatures, unfortunately, and we have plans for them if that came to it. Have you done this? Have you figured out how to walk out of your environment, your home, your workplace in SHTF, where it's an unsafe environment to be actually out and about in? Is it just car? Or is your walking route just along a main road? If cars can't function, main roads might be a useful thing to go down. But if main roads are unsafe, being on foot or on a bicycle is going to be a lot more dangerous than being in a car. Now, some of these houses do have back ways onto this piece of strip, and I can't anticipate that they will actually be out at about 3 in the morning at the very early phase of SHTF down here. And to be frank with you, if they are, I don't think they pose any security threat to me. The strip I'm walking along, and I can actually walk through that forest as well if I need to, is actually just borders by a fairly large river, and there's nobody really down here. Pretty secure. It's getting me to where I want to go, which is out of the city. So in the urban environment, going out by foot, my priority is going to be avoiding other people, especially in early SHTF. This means it's going to take me longer than driving. I'll drive early if I can, but if I can't, I'm going to bike. That's my plan, as I said. But if I have to walk, my priority is not time nor distance. In the urban areas I pass through, my priority in those areas is to enter and leave them between 3 AM and 6 AM, and to get in and out of those areas in that time span. And taking divergent routes through there, specifically pre-done to avoid people, is utterly critical. With this sort of a plan, if you don't actually exercise and test it regularly, it's going to have problems. This is like a rat's maze down here, so you can easily get lost, especially at night, and you may want to make sure that if you have a walking route for bug out, you actually at least walk on it twice a year as a minimum. That's what I would suggest. Most people in early SHTF would not be crossing a river like this. It's effective as a wall. For a walking bug out, I'm probably just going to go up the road through the industrial area and then into the main bug out route. but who knows what's going on. So I have this route scooped out. Now if I use this route, I'm probably going to enter it through here and wade across, dry off with a towel, micro towel, and then head off down this way. But there's all sorts of options here, and I think that's the key thing I'm trying to say today, is don't just look at a map and plan a route. Get out there, do it, walk the route, walk it once or twice a year, walk it in high summer, walk it in winter. This in high summer is an entirely different species. The paths are very, very clear in the summer, but to move off the paths is almost impossible. Whereas in the winter, it's very, very easy to get off the paths. You heard the little rapids earlier on. Walking this path means that if I had to run into this from that direction, I know where to aim to get across the water easily. In most urban environments, when you're taking paths like this, you're going to come across expensive homes. The chances are most of the people in these homes in early SHTF have bugged out to cottages, or even left the country. But if they are there, in Canada at least, they're the most likely to have guns. So I would avoid them. However, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, with no visible sign of a dog, and remember, you've done this route a few times a year, you know where the dogs are, you can easily skirt past this to get to the road access. In this case, I'm designating that as a danger zone, though in actuality it isn't. I could probably walk it right now because they're actually probably at work. Again, knowing who works, who doesn't work, who's got kids, who's got teenagers, who's got dogs, it's a useful thing. Anyway, I'm going that direction because I'm practicing. Still some big old trees left here, eh? Beautiful thing. And after about 15 minutes, probably gone about half a mile, bypassed most homes, most sources of danger. I find this unused cul-de-sac road that has major housing on it. Again, the rich people will flee or will be holed up. Again, this would be approximately 3:30 in the morning. Now the purists are going to say, "Hoopers, you don't have a backpack on." Nope, I would have one on, but I need to get my fitness level up. I admit that. The other thing with this as well, it causes more attention to you if you're doing unusual things and you're wearing a backpack or camo. So think about that. You don't want attention drawn to yourself before SHTF. The beauty of this is I'd expect this to be almost empty, and I can easily, on either side, but mostly this side, dodge away from anybody or any noise or any threats I see. Remember, at night time, most people can have a flashlight, right? I won't. Knowing where and how to cut through is an important thing. Like I say, you've probably seen this one before, but knowing the routes, the land routes that you can actually bypass most people, most roads, and actually speed your egress from the city or the town that you're in is a really important skill. And strangely enough, I don't think many people are actually planning to do major walkout bug outs. I think a lot of people have a plan for it. I don't think that many people have actually tried to implement it. And it's always worth it because you learn a lot of things that you don't find out until you actually do it. Pretty much anyone who's ever been in the bush or hunted or hiked or camped overnights, pretty much all of those guys and girls, and pretty much anybody that's done trail races or bike races of any length and distance, have pooped in the natural. But a lot of people online watching this have never actually had a poo in the natural environment. And I'll spare you that for this video, but it's actually something that you need to learn how to do because it's not actually intuitive. And I might actually cover that later on when it's a bit warmer. A good source of local milkweed. But I'm mainly coming here just to show you access points and egress points to get out of trail systems like this. If you haven't used them, you may have some trouble. So we have a home, we have a development here, and this is the way out. Now you will notice a huge amount of dead ground on this side, so I think we'll actually have a poke around in there just for fun because it's been about 1.5 years since I've been in there. Like I said, from up here you're probably not going to know take that trail path, you can actually follow the river system through forest and come out where I live. Just to show you exactly what I'm on about in terms of urban, city, town, bug out. This is a sort of route you do not want to use. Sure, it's quiet, but you can't really go left or right. So if you encounter any issues, you're encountering them. You're not going to be able to avoid them, and avoidance is what you need to be doing. So think about your bug out routes, your car routes. If the car breaks down, can you use trail systems? Can you get away from people easily? If you can, have a think about how you can do that. So once I've popped out, what I have is a choice of about 6 different routes through here. The one I take is an old abandoned road, fastest, quickest. Once I get through this piece, it's plain sailing to the actual bug out route. With only one more major town on the route. As I've said before, if you need to bug out by foot or even by bike a long distance, having a decent crowbar and wire cutters that are reasonable to use is a good thing. Overnight shelter for the we having here, and over there these cell phone towers. Now I don't know how much space are in the cell phone towers. I've been in them once or twice, but one person or even 2 could actually sleep in there pretty easily. All you need to do, pop the lock or climb over and cut the wire and force the door. Now for goodness sake, make sure the power's off if you're going to do stuff like that, right? Safety first. So it's a fairly easy route. There's no actual paths, which is good. It means people don't really use it. And you pop out onto that big field, which again, nobody really uses. Then you just have to cross one major road with 5 or 6 alternate routes on the other side. Then you hop on a country road. Then you walk for 100 miles or so. So if you can find mountain bike or hiking trails, use them. Why not? It's easy, right? It's a lot easier on the old body than whacking through the trees. But whacking through the trees might be the safest option, depending on what the event is, how people are reacting to it, where you are and where you need to go. It's entirely personal. There is no right or wrong way to bug out. Except I would argue bugging out early is always going to be better than any other type of bug out. Well, that's it. Just to prove a point, this area here actually directly connects to where the bridge that I crossed. That's the big field behind there where I walked across and went through that forest. So I can actually enter it through here and go that way. I can also enter it through various homes as well that, again, it would have to be grid down and I have to be very cautious about what I was doing, but at night, not a big deal. But for most of us, we should be prepped, we should be able to get out by car, right? And if not, bike's definitely going to be my premier mode of transportation. But if I have to walk, I got it kind of figured out where I would go and how I would go and when I would go. I think that's really important. To actually do foot time, to actually get out on these trails, to actually look at the homes, get a sense of the neighbourhoods, is very, very important. Remember, in SHTF, tomorrow will always be worse than today, unless you prepare. Toodles.